7th of March 25, and I'm just looking at it's Friday here. I'm just looking at the council by-elections last night in the UK and looking out for Reform doing really well. Yeah, we have our elections on a Thursday while the working people are working, you know. We don't have them on a Saturday or Sunday or anything like that. We haven't taken the private sector approach to the internet and stuff, you know, like you don't need to visit a bank anymore, but you still need to visit an electoral polling station, you know. That's the way our politicians are thinking, especially Reform, funnily enough. They want to keep it horse and cart type. But yeah, so there was 9 by-elections last night, council by-elections. This is a chance for anyone who's got the honour of having a council by-election. It's a chance to vote Reform, especially if you vote Labour, SNP, Lib Dem, Greens. It's a chance to vote Reform as a protest vote for an Overton window shift on one major policy that just happened by accident, really. You know, Labour and Tories just let it happen over the last 75 years. Um, it wasn't something even they wanted. It just the people came and nobody sent them back or anything. So it's just something that's really happened. But now we've got to a crunch point. People are looking at the demographics and they're thinking, well, British natives are like 75%. That's still a lot, but that's people over 80, over 70, over 60. If you look at under 30s, you know, I don't know what it is now, it's probably 66% or something, but yeah, so you can vote as a protest vote reform. Let's take a look at the 9 by-elections of last night. That's some polls, I'll go back to them, national polls. And for reform, they held steady at around about 23, 24, 25% from what I've seen, but they didn't make any real big inroad, any big massive inroads yesterday. I think they did in one. Um, and I'm wondering if some people are tactically voting on the left. Say if they usually vote Lib Dem, now they're voting Labour to keep reform out, or vice versa, you know. Uh, so let's look at, first of all, Eastleigh Council. I think this is a Lib Dem area. Lib Dem's winning as usual, 52%. Reform come in at 23%, so that's pretty good. I don't know the demographics of the area. I'm guessing it's pretty native still, I don't know. But Conservative, you know how the Greens talk about Native Americans and Native Australians and that, you know, but they don't talk about that here. Um, Tories, they're down 9%, say, so probably went to Reform. Labour, 7%, so they're nothing there anyway. Let's see if anyone else. No Green. Well, there was a Green last time, so maybe the Green pulled out so that Lib Dems would do better or something. You know, this is the kind of thing the left seem to be doing at the moment. All over Europe, because over in Europe they've got a lot of proportional representation systems, and the left and centre right are using them so that the right don't, so that the sensible immigration parties don't get in. You know, doing is what the public really want. So the Germany's doing that at the moment. They're EFD were second with 21% or something, but they're not even getting asked to join the coalition. It's going to be the CPD and the CDU, SPD and CDU, left and centre left, centre right, both of whom want Germans, native Germans, to become a minority quite fast. SPD more than the other CDU, but become a third world majority. But yeah, so I think this might be happening in council by-elections now, basically, in Britain. So the Greens didn't stand, and I wonder if it's still let the Lib Dem too. So here we've got another one in Brentford, Hounslow. I think that's a very changed area. It's future-proofed, you could say. Labour down 5%, and Reform they only get 8.1%, but there's hardly anybody there to vote Reform, you know, really. I think it's like 60% the future majority, basically. Independent 33%. This is some sort of just daft left Labour guy, traditional type Labour guy, you know. I don't know why they're voting for him at all. I don't know if words go around the religious places to vote for him or whatever, you know, we don't know. Labour are down, you know, because they're seen as the anti-Palestine party, basically. Greens 11.9%, so they're down 4.3. Tories down 8.2, so maybe they 6.6 down. Maybe they got the reform vote, I don't know, but Brentford is a very different place now, so I don't like to get anything into that. All I'm interested in doing is the natives all switching to reform to try and keep the country the way that people found desirable and people wanted to move to, you know, because we don't know how the new utopia is going to be. It's okay to predict that Britain's heading to be a new utopia with the natives being a minority and being a majority from people who don't seem to want to live in their homelands. Plus, they don't seem to want to live maybe in 3.5 continents, we don't know. But so how's it, you know? Let's see, anyway. So into this one, Finchley, Barnet. So this is another place that's changed a lot. I think it's a very Hindu area, I'm not sure. Demographics, Hindu and Muslim, Barnet. And Jewish as well, I think. Conservative hold. So I can't really tell anything here just looking at it. Tories are up. So Reform's 10.5%, which is pretty good, but no. Possibly they can't get a hold there, it's too late, basically. Lib Dems, they crashed, they're down nearly 20% to 6.4, so I don't know what happened there. Well, maybe, let's see, well, there's not enough people who talk about it, basically, it's only 2 comments. So, yeah. And now on to Pendle. I think this is a very changed area of Cumbria, I think, or something. Vivery Bridge. Lib Dem gain from Conservative. Lib Dems up 10%, 11%. Reform 32%, so that's good. So that's really good. Apparently that area, the British National political party in 2005 done very well, so it must be a very changed area of Cumbria. Tories down 23%, so that's good. It looks like they won it last time. So it's a bit of a false thing for Lib Dems. Labour down 10.9%, so maybe Labour voters were shifting over to Lib Dems so that Reform don't get in. No Greens, so maybe the Greens stood down so that Lib Dems could get us. Don't know. %21% turnout, a fall of 8%. So that was pretty good for Reform, so that was good. You're almost there. Okay, on to the next one, Brentford East. This is another one it's futures proofed already. You can sort of forget it as an area. Well, Reform 22%, so the natives that are still there probably came out. So, and Labour are down 14% to 48%. So it was really a big Labour area. So you can see why they're very pro. Even though Keir says the Boris waves were what was it he called them? I don't even remember, but he was quite right, however he called it. That was his very honest speech in November. An experiment. it's looking like its experiments continuing under Labour, really. It's a bit, Brentford's gone, but Labour down, so maybe this is, with Keir being anti-Palestinian in sometimes in rhetoric, but mainly in policy. So, yeah, because Keir thought he could take the typical stance on Israel-Palestine and just ignore that the country changed over the last 30 or 40 years with Labour encouraging it. Labour always were there to call natives the R word if they were anxious about how it was changing. So, but he was shocked to find that the newcomers are going to start voting for their own identity parties. So there's now sort of backtracking, but it's too late. They're sort of moving anyway. Personally, they're going to move to identity parties anyway, so it doesn't matter. I mean, when it comes to I'm having to be careful with my words just because of YouTube, really. That it comes with identity. The people coming over are a bit. It's very important to them, you know. Rishi married a certain type of woman. Sadiq married a certain type of woman, you know. We don't know if it's going to be any different at any point, but yeah. So Labour down. I think they might be losing part of their religious vote, you know. Reform, so that's good, considering their place is lost. Conservative down 7.6, Greens down 8.6, so that's good. Lib Dems up 8.8%. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's their religious vote or something. I don't know. Not sure what that's about. Let's see if anybody gives the demographics of this area. Yeah, there we go. The first one's really saying it all. Really, 16% turnout. Yeah, so there's somebody saying considering about 15% of this area is native, Reform did well. So that's pretty impressive, really, for Reform. I mean, we don't know if we had a poll between the current minorities. Would you like all the other minorities? Would you like them? You personally have got to answer that yourself. Would they say yes or no? You know, we don't know. But currently, the concept is, especially by Labour, is it's going to be a utopia, and everyone they're going to show us love. They're going to show us how to live peacefully together. The new groupings. So over to Wales, Plaid Cymru. I think this is a very Plaid Cymru thing. They're an absolute disastrous part, same as SNP. You could call them anti-Welsh native, really. Probably they want Wales to become minority native faster than Labour and much faster than the Tories, you know. So they get 57%, but they're down 27. So this was a rock solid Plaid Cymru place, maybe even Welsh speaking, which is going to be a minority of a minority soon. So that's a big drop. Reform up 20%, so that's a relief. Well done. Even the Welsh speakers are probably getting the message now, because Wales is changing even faster than Scotland. I think. I'm not sure on that, because Scotland's changing fast as well, but by the anti-Scottish National Party, you know. So that's pretty good. Tories 20% as well, so the two right get 40%. I mean, Tories, you've got to vote Reform if you're worried about this. Although it was really good of Kemi Badenoch to say 2 weeks ago that some cultures are better than others, you know, because she's saying the police can't arrest you for saying that now, basically, you know. I thought it was a bit bit of a surprise thing to say, but I don't know how that other one, but that's pretty good then. If that's a rock solid Welsh speaking council, maybe it's the most Welsh council seat in the country, in Carmarthen and constituency reunified in 2024. So that's pretty good. I think the Welsh are going to soon dump the left completely and vote reform basically on an identity protest vote. I think it's looking that way. So that's a really good sign to me, in my opinion. So that was all there was 3 today, 3 counted today in Canterbury. Let's take a look at them. Oh god, sorry for it being so slow. Why not pause it? Yeah, here's Canterbury Council. There was 3 here. I would guess these are all usually Tory areas. So Gorrell Ward by-election. Green Party, 1200. Terrible. You couldn't get any more anti-native than the Greens, basically. Where's Reform? Oh, they never sat there when I looked at it. Oh, I did. 423, so they were third, but they done pretty well. Tories were nowhere really, Lib Dems nowhere. 28% turnout. Greens elected, so I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that's people voting tactically for the Greens or what. Here's the next one. Labour won this one by the looks of it. Reform, I'm having to go. Reform 245, so not bad. They beat the Lib Dems and Tories, so they were second. Labour Party, turnout 26%. And the final one, here in Broomfield in Canterbury. And the Tories won this one, 557 votes. Reform second, 473, so that's pretty good. Labour third, 196. So, I don't know what to make of that really. Now let's take a look at the main poll. So from these results this week in the council by-election, it's still, Reform are still on the up, especially by the looks to me of areas where they're not meant to reach, sort of left areas. I think these people are finally getting the message that left policies on women's rights and LGBT rights might not be secure in the future. Maybe not. At the moment, the left are saying we're going to be ultra women's rights and LGBT. But we've just got 4 new independent MPs, identity votes. They're going to get a lot of Labour like that, Labour areas, if there's concentrated areas. I think we're going to have 2 big new parties. A Lives Matter party as an umbrella group because they probably argue amongst itself quite a lot, and sort of Islamic party, which again will argue with itself a lot, but there'll be umbrella things, and the 2 groups will probably be enough to be a majority in most cases, especially as the time goes on, future goes on, so they can do deals to all these people who leave Labour, mainly SNP and the left, and even the Tories, but at the moment Bob Blackwood just put forward Tory MP put forward a Hindu mandate of manifesto or something for the Tories or something, but he'll get voted out basically and replaced by someone that the people there find more suitable for the future of Britain. So let's look at the main polls. Taking the UK, so Labour have got a bounce, which is very, very frustrating. I don't know why they've got a bounce. I mean, Keir's been very strong in Ukraine, which I agree with, but he makes me ill, basically. seeing him in the White House the other week, last week, and he said something. The only thing he complained about was free speech, saying free speech was safe in Britain. And this is because J.D. Vance made a speech in the Munich conference 2 or 3 weeks ago saying that free speech wasn't safe in Europe. So I think this was Keir's not being a bootlicker to Donald Trump. This is the one thing he thought he would be safe on, but he wasn't safe actually. I think because Donald Trump said the next day, a journalist asked him about it, and Donald Trump said, yeah, we were talking about that afterwards. So obviously that's a blot he's made. Keir thought he was doing his bootlicker like he did for Corbyn. He was doing it magnificently for Trump, you know. It's embarrassing, but yeah, no, he's blotted his thingy with that, thinking he could have a dig at J.D. Vance. No, you can't. So the one, I mean, Europe are looking as if they're going to try and fund Ukraine, which is fantastic. That's the way I want it to be. Yeah, I mean, because you can't trust Trump at all. Not only is he mentally insane, his ability and unpredictable. We don't know his motives. I don't know if his motives is some sort of rich thing from the Russians or some sort of financial thing, or he just likes sort of mafia concept, something like that. Who knows? But anyway, so Labour have got a bounce, so I don't know if it's because of that. I don't understand it at all. 8% they are on that one. I think there's 2 polls out today. Find out now. 25%. So they're up to. That's frustrating because this is the one that had Reform in a big lead. But I'm guessing they're a sinking ship though. For a start, they're going to lose their newcomers. They're going to start losing them to identity parties. And really they're going to lose the native vote as well. Any native voting for them is voting. Personally, I think you've got to consider you're voting for anarchy, basically. The concept is you're voting for a new utopia that's never been tried before. Although Keir called it an experiment, untried experiment or whatever. He was just talking about the Boris waves, I think, which were the biggest waves ever. So Reform 25%, so that's still good. So it's holding at the moment, even though there's a bit of bickering amongst ourselves. I'm not bothered whether they bicker or not, personally. For me, they're just a protest vote, Overton window thing. Nothing will really stop me voting Reform, apart from if another party, sensible in immigration, which has a chance of breaking the mould, comes through, you know, like the SDP or UKIP. But for now, or the Homeland Party, but for now, Reform's the only one for the Overton window shift, so I'm not bothered who's in charge. I mean, I would prefer Robert Law, even though I don't agree with him. I don't agree with the party system. I think we should be voting on issues. I think this was electoral system is the one we should have. So the Tories are still holding on at 21%, so that's a surprise to me, you know. I don't know who's voting. It seems like old Tories are still voting tourism. Lib Dem, I don't know who's voting for them. Greens, I mean, these people are voting as if Britain hasn't changed. That's how I feel, you know. Greens, 7%. I mean, if I was a newcomer to Britain, I'd be glad if the natives continued to vote Labour, Lib Dem, Greens. I mean, if I was just over in a dinghy, my message to Brits would be keep voting Labour, Lib Dem, Greens, although Tories alright as well. Don't vote Reform even though they're very soft on this issue with their net zero policy, but that would have been 400,000 last year. But you're sending the wrong message, you voted Reform. So vote for the other ones. So we'll look at the final one. So this is a bit frustrating because Reform was so far ahead on this one. They were up at 28% and Labour were at 23%. But now it's Reform 26%, Labour 25%. But I mean, you can't say what's going on, you know. Maybe this is because of Keir, he's doing the right thing with Ukraine, but I mean, who likes Keir? Does anyone like Keir? I don't think even his cabinet or he's not got a faction in his faction of MPs. I don't think support him. He's not got any activists that would support him. I mean, I really can't see him. And I think he's running the country as if it's 1947. You know, as if the demographics is 1947, basically. Apart from he's starting to bring in a lot of identity things to please the ones who elected him in his cabinet or thingy, which I don't think natives are going to like. We've just had an announcement there's going to be a two-tier justice system, you know, and this might make more natives think, oh, well, it's not looking like it yet. So that's not been factored into these pollings yet. When was this? Oh, I don't know when it was. So the Tories still holding. I can't understand that at all. Lib Dems, Greens, 10%. I don't know. I mean, Greens are ultra woke and open borders. They don't see any conflict between those two things, any contradiction or whatever, you know. Okay, that's it for now. So it's still looking good for reform if you're worried about, in my opinion, if you're worried about women's rights and LGBTQ+, you should be voting reform at the moment. As an Overton window shift, as a protest vote, you know, Nigel gets angry when people say protest vote. That's what they are, because the party system is a lot of rubbish. We shouldn't be voting for parties, we should be voting for issues, like in Switzerland, the electoral system. So, yeah, although I would prefer reform if they were under Robert Law. He tweets all the time about immigration and he's saying the right things. Maybe not strong enough, you know, but yeah. Okay, I don't think there's anything else to see. It's not loading. Okay, that's it for now. Bye.